Hi, Rick Brewer here, and welcome to video number 2 of 4 of Bridal Show series of what to do to prepare for the show. Now, as you know, preparation helps you to excel in whatever you're doing. So today we're going to talk about some of the key items to prepare for your show. Now, hopefully you've taken time to download the first course, which is an audio course on Bridal Show Success Secrets, where we're going to talk a lot more in depth about it. But for those who prefer video, I wanted to put this out there so that this would give them a little bit of a taste of what we're going to be talking about in the audio courses. I don't want you to just simply sign up for the show and then show up the week of and then start thinking about it now. Even if your show is 6 months away, I want you to start thinking about that show right now, because you can start thinking and preparing based on what you see out there that's working, maybe for others, maybe something that you've seen in another market or another vendor that you're friends with someplace else might be successful. But if you start preparing now, chances have it that when comes to the day of the show, you're going to be much more prepared. So let's look at 3 areas of preparing for the show. First area, I want you to prepare your booth or your presentation, what you're going to look like at the show. The key to this is that you need to look like what you do. So if you're a DJ, you need to be able to walk past that booth and look like a DJ. If you're a photographer, you need to look like a photographer. So the brides who are coming through there have multiple times stated that they're overwhelmed with going to the show. So if you can help them by making it easy, and making it easy in their eyes, there's got a better chance that if they're looking for what you do, then they're going to stop by and talk to you for at least a moment. Now, I also want you to keep your booth style clean. I don't want you to try to put a size 12 foot into a size 8 shoe. I want you to keep it as simple and as neat and organized as you can. Think of the Apple store. Apple has so many products and so many different things that they could fill the shelves with, but they don't. They keep it simple, clean, neat, and organized. So think of Apple when you're preparing your booth. Further, I want you to prepare based on the layout of the booth being inviting and welcoming to those who are coming through. In other words, don't put your table out at the end of it and then you stand behind the table as though this is some kind of guarded area that you got to pass through security to get through. I want your booth to be inviting and welcome, to where you can pull people out of the aisle to where they can talk to you, and then you can have your conversation within the confines of your booth. Some of the most successful booths I've seen have nothing to do with what they sell. They just put out several couches to where they could come in and sit down and relax, and it was so inviting and comforting that they would talk to them for twice as long as they would any other vendor. Another tip I want you to keep in mind is, just because you're at a wedding show doesn't mean you have to have wedding things that are obvious. I mean, the brides get that they're at a bridal show. So you don't have to put up a mannequin with a dress at it if you're a florist and confuse the bride. If you're a florist, put up nothing but flowers all over. If you're a dress manufacturer or a dress salon, then put up dresses. But keep it simple and keep it short and clean with what you're doing. The number 2 of the 3 areas I want you to focus on is I want you to focus on preparing your material or your offer. The materials that you're going to be handing off, listen, I don't want you to think for 1 minute that handing them off a ton of materials is going to be effective towards selling your stuff for you. You need to sell your stuff. Don't think that your brochure is going to somehow magically creep out of the bag that she stuffs it into and then do a presentation for you. You need to be presenting, you need to be talking to her, and then taking her one step. We're going to talk about that in the next video. But I want your offers to be planned and prepared, not based on the sale, but I want your offer to be based on taking another step. If you were to think about how many sales you get out of a bridal show and what else is being offered at that bridal show, you would see that there's so many different offers out there that depend upon a sale. Don't do that, because the brides aren't looking to buy at this stage. They are looking to investigate you. So you know as well as I, if you can get them to the appointment, you're going to do just great. If you got 20 appointments from that show and 15 of them actually showed up, you're going to close a good deal of them, as opposed to the sales that you get at the show, which are your offer, if it's based just on the sale as opposed to getting them to the appointment, you're going to have an overall bottom line, better bottom line from that show. The third thing I want you to focus on the three things, is preparing yourself. You need to prepare yourself physically, mentally, and with your expectation. Let's talk about physically. I get that shows are no fun because you get sore ankles and sore knees, and I've got bad knees, so I have to sit down after just a brief moment. When I'm doing my all-day seminars, I bring a chair up to the front of the room, which in speaker world, that's faux pas. But what I want you to understand is that it's okay as long as you explain it. But don't underthink this, the physicality of the show. I want you to prepare by eating well. I want you to prepare by drinking lots of fluids, and I want you to get a lot of sleep the night before. Don't think that you can stay up, and I don't care what age you are, but staying up all night is going to leave you off your mental game. Now mentally, what I'm talking about is I want you to prepare by getting your attitude in shape, that you know that there are brides there who are going to buy from somebody, and it might just as well be you. So prepare yourself to where you know that you can get business out of that show. There's this little thing that I do when I'm in my live seminars, which I show about the power of focus, where if you take your hands and you put them together, and I can make one hand that's shorter become the hand that becomes longer without any mismatch. But it's all about the power of your subconscious thinking, is what I show in that exercise. And your subconscious thinking needs to be, look, I can get business out of this show. Most of the business that you get from a bridal show does not come immediately. In fact, rarely do you get contracts signed. If you do get a chance to sign a contract, absolutely sign it. But I don't plan on contract sign. I plan on the meeting after, whether that's meeting by phone or meeting in person. And one other factor is I prefer that you meet on some kind of a video device, such as FaceTime or Skype, so where you can see the real live person and they can see you. And then the third thing I want you to prepare with yourself is your expectations. If there's going to be 300 brides at that show, and you do what I call the 3-3-3 method, I'll talk about that in the next video, you should have time to meet with somewhere around 40 to 60 brides or wedding couples at that show. If you meet with that many, coming away with 30 appointments would be a phenomenal show for you, because if 25 of those appointments show up, you're going to be whistling Dixie until the sun goes down. You're going to be pretty happy with those results. So manage your expectations by thinking and putting pen to paper about how many brides you actually can meet with, and then how many of those brides who you meet with and talk to for 3 to 5 minutes would be able to book what you sell by meeting with you at an appointment. And so if you come away with a certain amount of appointments, you're going to be tickled pink about it. And then you've got to follow up on those appointments as well. We'll talk about that in the fourth video. But that's what I want you to prepare for. I want you to prepare your booth or your presentation of what you're doing. Number two, I want you, and by the way, on the booth, if you can lay it out and put it up in your garage and plan it out and get some opinions on it, even better. Number two, your materials or your offer that you're going to be giving, and your offer only needs to get them to the next step. And then number three, preparing yourself to where you're physically, mentally, and your expectations are all in line. We'll see you at the next video.